In this video, we're going to take a look at the WorkStyle planner by Cambridge. So I found this one at Staples in the USA. There was a larger page size as well with a different inside layout, and I did really like the inside layout. I'll have a link down below, but it didn't come in a smaller page size. It was only US letter, which was just too big. So I settled on this one instead. This version is about 6 inches wide by just over 8.5 inches high, and that's the cover dimension. So the inside pages are a little less than that, and I'll have all those details in the blog post that's linked down below. I do still really like the layout of this smaller page size version. I think it's quite practical. It has separate sections for work and personal, so let's have a closer look. So there were a few covers to choose from, but I really liked this purple cover. Unfortunately, the planners were a bit scratched up on the display stand, so you can see that shows on the planner already, so I haven't even used it yet. This is like brand new and it's already got some scratches on it, so the cover I would say is not particularly durable. But important to note, this planner, I cannot remember exactly how much I paid. I think it was less than 15 US dollars, so it's quite cheap for a planner. It's quite thin and lightweight because of these poly, whatever you call the material cover, similar to the cover that a lot of the discbound planners use, the cheaper ones. So yeah, keep that in mind. It's flexible, but it's going to show up some marks throughout the year, to be expected for a cheap price. It has the gold binding, which I quite like, that matches the gold effects on the covers. And then if we go inside, we have a pocket folder, which is double-sided, and then some gold planner stickers, and I really do love these planner stickers. Functional, just some nice icons. The cutting of the stickers is quite accurate. There's nothing that's like slipped into a word, or it's not crooked or anything. So I wish that they'd included some more pages of these stickers, because I think you can just never have enough functional planner stickers. And it does talk about having balance between work and life. So when I first opened the planner, I thought, okay, there's bound to be a ton of goal planning pages in here, but there aren't. It just jumps straight into the weekly and the monthly spread. So if you are looking for some annual goal planning pages, I suggest that you use a separate planner or a separate notebook. I can include some recommendations, which will be down below, for goal planners if you really want to do a detailed, thorough planning. Otherwise, just plain notes paper, you're probably going to need to add that yourself. There are some notes pages at the back of the planner, but not too many, so just keep that in mind. You might need to have like a separate reference notebook if you do purchase this planner. So it has a 3-year reference calendar with a Sunday week start for the previous year, the current year, and the next year. This one is a 12-month dated for the calendar year. However, I have seen versions of these 12 months for an academic year, so starting mid-year in July if you wanted that version instead. It is a US planner company, so it has US holidays printed, and I do like that it shows you not only the current year but also the upcoming like future years as well. I don't see many planners doing that. I think that's quite helpful to have that for reference. And these holidays are also printed through on the monthly calendars and on the weekly spreads as well. So the tabs are quite thin. They're just paper with the laminate around them, so they're not terribly durable, but they are protected by the cover because it extends beyond those pages, so you do get the protection that way. There's tabs for each month, and then there's also a tab for balance and notes, which we'll get to in a minute. So the monthly calendar is pretty typical. It's got your boxes for each day. It's got those holidays pre-printed. It starts on a Sunday, which matches those annual overview calendars we saw just before that also started on a Sunday. One thing that is slightly different is they have this sidebar over here. Instead of it just being plain like notes or a checklist or a blank column or anything, it has a little my week, so you can put your little overview in there if you like, or if you don't like that, you can just use some whiteout and turn it back into a generic lined sidebar. I did want to just show you, it does unfortunately have split boxes. So instead of restarting the numbering on the top row, it has a whole bunch of dead boxes that people probably won't even use, and instead wants you to cram your plans into these little half boxes, which I totally cannot stand. So I would be getting some whiteout and then changing 23rd and 24th to 30th and 31st and getting rid of that line, and then you get a full box for each day. The paper is quite thin, which is to be expected because it is quite an affordable planner, but you can see a lot of show through of the previous or the back side of the page of what the next like design is, so I don't really like that, but it does have bright white paper, so I mean, for a more affordable planner, it's kind of to be expected. I will be doing a pen test, which will be in the blog post link down below, but just looking at this, you can pretty much expect that a lot of pens, gel pens, fine tip, I don't think it's going to matter what type of pen, there's going to be some ghosting on the back side of the page, and because it's so thin, there might even be some indenting as well. But putting that aside, the main reason that I got this planner was for the weekly spread. So I really like this layout. If you're trying to keep work and personal in the same planner, I think this is a really good layout to try. So at the top here, we have the days of the week, and this is a layout that I feel like I've seen people use in bullet journals, but I haven't seen many planners have this layout. So if you're sick of ruling up the same layout in your bullet journal, maybe you could try this planner instead. Down the bottom, we have the personal section with habits, a little recharge section, tasks and notes. I will measure the line spacing for you as well and have that in the blog post. And then we also have a work section, which is quite similar, with priorities, tasks, notes, and then a little wins box down the bottom. So I think that's a very practical layout. If you are trying to balance work and personal, this planner to me assumes that you have a 9 to 5. So if you are doing like something on your own business, or you have something on the side, you might find that this combined column for Saturday and Sunday is a little squishy. So you might need to add some sticky notes or something else to create some extra space, just because it is a little tight with those boxes. And again, I'll measure them for you. Especially when they add the holidays in there, it's quite small writing space. But the planner is super light and easy to take with you, so if you are using it for just a 9 to 5 planner, I can see how this one would be quite appealing. So at the back here, let's just go to the balance tab. So this is kind of those, what I'm assuming is instead of like the goal planning pages. So because they've given you goal intentional self-care, so it's a different take on a goal layout. I personally would prefer more space to do goal planning, but they do give you these little ones that you could adapt. You just wouldn't have like a section to put, you know, your list of goals for the year or goals for each quarter or anything like that. So you're going to have to utilize the notes tab or a different planner if you want to go to that level of detail. But if you just want to do a summary, then these pages might be sufficient for you. So on the personal one, we have a description of your goal, intentional self-care, break it down with tasks, challenges, and then successes. And then the work one has an overview, action items, deadline, love that part, and then a note section. So you do only get a handful of these, like 4, 2 for personal, 2 for work, which is just definitely not enough in my opinion, but anyway. And then we have a few notes pages at the back, and again, you've got so few notes pages, it's not really going to be usable. So you've got like 5 notes pages, which is quite few. So I do think they maybe could have expanded the coil, and that one's been threaded wrong, but minor issue. They could have added some more notes pages or some goal pages at the back, but I do really love the weekly spread. I think that's a really nice layout. And if you're looking at this planner going, well, I'm not in the US, if you're in Australia like I am, I have not found a way to buy this online unless you can get Amazon to ship it to you, and even then Amazon seems to just have parts of a planner collection. They never seem to have the full range like a Blue Sky planners or any of these Cambridge ones that are quite, I'd say, generic and widely available in the US. They don't seem to have them. So if you're in Australia like I am, maybe you want to take inspiration from this and create a bullet journal spread, or just take elements of it. But it is quite a nice planner if you are in the US, if you want to do work personal, if you have a 9 to 5 job. I think it would be quite suitable for that if you're looking for a planner that caters to that. I will have the pen test link down below, and I'll also have some links to goal planners and then some other planner spreads that you could use if you're trying to do work and personal and this one maybe didn't quite suit your needs. So I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to subscribe. I usually do planner review videos, I'm going to say once a month, but I'm trying to do them more frequently. So I'll see you in the next one.